Rather lads, welcome back to Kossi's Arsenal podcast. My name is Kossi. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in all parts of the world. Bit of breaking news. Now, according to UEFA, the game between Arsenal and PSV has also been postponed due to policing. I don't know how I should call this because it is not even policing, strains. It is bullshit. It's absolute bullshit. But this is what UEFA has actually released, and they're saying UEFA today has announced that UEFA Europa League game tie between Arsenal FC and PSV Eindhoven, originally to be played on Thursday, 15th September, has been postponed with a new date to be communicated during the due course. This is due to several limitations on police resources and organizational issues related to the organizing ongoing events surrounding the national mourning of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II. So that is the second game that has been rescheduled for Arsenal Football Club. Of course, over the weekend, Arsenal-Everton at the Emirates Stadium was postponed. Of course, all games were postponed, and I didn't care really much about that because everyone was not going to play. So that means Arsenal cannot lag behind because no one was going to play. Now, on Thursday, we have to play in the Europa League. Yes, we are at home at the Emirates Stadium, and the game has been called off because the police have suddenly changed their mind and they've said their resources are actually too stretched. They will not be having enough manpower. They will not be having enough resources to take care of our game. So there were a couple of options that were discussed. One was taking the game to PSV Eindhoven Stadium. That is Arsenal playing away from home first before we played at home. Now, I don't know why that one has actually not worked out. PSV look like they didn't agree to it. So for me, that would have been the first option we thought about. Arsenal going away from home because it's in the UK. It's in the UK. It is known all over the world. I am totally for the UEFA competitions to go on, and I told you that during the weekend. I'm 100% for UEFA competitions to go on, UEFA Champions League and the UEFA Europa League. I don't care about the Premier League. I don't care about the FA Cup, and I don't care about the EFL Cup. As long as the UEFA competitions, Europa League and Champions League go on, because these are not knockout competitions. You need to play games, and they need to get out of the way. So Arsenal PSV will not be taking place. There is no hope of us, going away in Eindhoven. There is no hope. Now, the other option that was discussed, according to what I've seen, is Arsenal and PSV playing this game behind closed doors. The police have also rejected that offer, and they have said that will also need some amount of policing. So it doesn't seem like the game has been called off because the policing resources are not enough for the game. The game has been called off because the police are not willing to be there. The same police that came out and said, we will be there. Arsenal should host their game if they want. The police will have enough resources. The same government that said there's no problem if the Premier League and FA want to carry on with the fixtures this weekend. They should carry on. We are not going to force them to postpone the games. So where were the resources going to come from to cover the whole Premier League? Where were the resources going to come from to cover 10 stadiums in one weekend? Those resources are now suddenly not available for the Arsenal game. It's quite puzzling me. But this is what puzzles me more, and this is what really makes me surprised. Chelsea, this midweek on Wednesday, Chelsea have a game in the UEFA Champions League at the Stamford Bridge in London, and that game there is no information from UEFA as per the moment, because I don't see how we get the information for the Thursday fixture before we get the information on a Wednesday fixture. So this Wednesday, Chelsea have a game at home. I want to make sure that I'm right about that, because I've just looked at it. Chelsea do have a Champions League game at home. So you look at if you look at their calendar, Fulham, Chelsea, that is in London, was postponed. Now Chelsea will take an RB Salzburg at 22 hours. That is a 24-hour clock on Wednesday, 14th September, and that game is yet to be postponed. That game, according to what I'm looking at here, that game is scheduled to go ahead. I don't understand that. I absolutely don't understand that. The UEFA Champions League is a bigger fixture, so you expect the Stamford Bridge to attract bigger numbers than the Europa League fixture. We know that, and if there is any kind of policing you need, it is in the UEFA Champions League more than the Europa League. So the Chelsea game is scheduled to go ahead at the Stamford Bridge. The game at the Emirates Stadium has been postponed. I don't understand that. Someone make me understand. Someone explain what is going on. Why is Chelsea scheduled to have their fixture with RB Salzburg in London and Arsenal are not? I mean, someone make me understand. And then the other thing I'm thinking about, I'm looking at here, lads, is the other options. Playing behind closed doors, the police have used the excuse that they don't have the minimum number of resources to, cover a game behind closed doors. It's not true. It is absolutely not true. Because the reason as to why you decide to go behind closed doors, you're trying to strain the resources of the police, and that is why I thought that option was viable. And telling us that the game will not continue because the police feel they don't have the resources is a joke. It's an absolute joke. Because this is why it is a joke for me. We might use all the excuses of we want our players to be back on schedule and everything, but this is creating a problem for Arsenal Football Club, and every fan should look at this in this perspective. These games, the PSV game alone has no exact date where it is going to be fixated, because you have to look into PSV's calendar, and then you have to look into Arsenal's calendar, and then you have to find a date. Remember, we already have a weekend of fixtures that has been scrapped. We are likely to have another weekend of fixtures where we have to play Brentford, by the way, that is likely to be scrapped. Actually, next weekend, there is a high possibility still that some fixtures will be played, but fixtures in London might not be played. Brentford, Arsenal could be called off while the rest of the clubs play football. That is another problem I have with this postponement of games. It doesn't make a lot of sense for me. It really doesn't make a lot of sense, in my opinion. Especially now that the Chelsea game is going to go ahead as planned. It just doesn't make any sense. So, like I was saying, where are these fixtures? Where are these games going to be placed? Where are they going to be? When are we going to play these games? Huge question there, lads. Right? Because I've seen Arsenal could have to forego the fixture, forego the 3 points. I mean, yeah, in a group we have Botoglint and what and FC Zurich, you could forego the fixture and qualify as leaders in the group. Actually, what I would say here for me is it's better this fixture to be forfeited. It's better this fixture to be scrapped off and give the 3 points to PSV and Hoven, because these fixtures are going to be so hectic and they're going to affect our season. We have a couple of Premier League fixtures in the upcoming month, midweek. We do have Europa League midweek, and we have the EFL Cup midweek as well. So literally in October, you might not have space for these fixtures. And from October, where do we go? From October, it is December, it is November. We're going to be in the fucking World Cup. You're not going to have a section of players playing in the Europa League and a section of players playing in the World Cup. So it's going to be maximum concentration on the World Cup. And remember, players have to have 2 weeks. Is it 2 weeks, 3 weeks rest before we get into the World Cup? All that time, when is this game going to be played? When are these fixtures going to be played? And then after the World Cup, I think you're gonna have another 2-3 weeks for players to take a break, right? And then when they come back, a marathon of fixtures, a marathon of games. We looked at the fixtures, and remember, was it 5 games per week? 5 games excluding UEFA Champions League, right? 5 games per month, sorry, excluding UEFA Champions League. That means players are going to have 5 games a week, 4 games a week. It's absolutely ridiculous. It's absolutely not on point. So for me, lads, look, I think UEFA have not thought about the players here. They've not thought about the calendar here. They've just gone, okay, we cannot. I think what they've done is they wanted to show. It's not really, respect. They wanted to show that they are in line with whatever is going on in the UK, and they never wanted to be on the wrong side of the coin. So they've decided, we will not stand in the way of the Queen's celebrations. I don't know. They're always celebrations. I'm not an English, guy, but they're always celebration. Death or birth is always celebration. So they've gone. The priority, our priority, our loyalty is to the Queen and the UK. Fair enough. But for me, I think this is wrong. Players are gonna have so many games, and the injuries that we're seeing at the moment are not going to go away. They're literally not going to go away. They're going to be worsened. The World Cup midway. For me, look, this all goes back to UEFA anyway. It just goes back to UEFA. In the first place, the World Cup should not be mid-season, because UEFA is greedy, because they decided they will go for money over, the players' welfare. They said, and they decided, a World Cup in Qatar should happen, right? And they've done a lot of PR around it. But for me, I'm quite disappointed, guys. I'm really, really disappointed that we are having a game in London, Chelsea playing in London, and Arsenal will not have their fixture. It is so hurting. That is the small piece of football we had as Arsenal fans. Now, this month, we are literally, this month, one loss like this to Man United, and it's over. It's absolutely over for us in September. We are coming back in October, where we're going to have so many fixtures. I've heard of Manchester City Arsenal should be rescheduled for the PSV game to go ahead, or Arsenal Brighton in the FL Cup should be rescheduled. When are we going to stop rescheduling games to accommodate other fixtures? It just shows poor planning. It will be a mark of poor planning. And for me, Arsenal should forego these 3 points. Honestly, we should forego this. If we care about the welfare of our players, if we care about the fitness of our players, we should just forego this fixture. It's 3 points that doesn't mean Arsenal out of the race. We can go finish second in our group and get any other club in the round of 32, smash it, and go to the quarterfinals, semi-finals, finals, and win it. So for me, if it's going to need rescheduling other fixtures, either the Manchester City game that is on the 20th of October, or the EFL fixture, which is supposed to be, again midweek, then Arsenal should just forget about these 3 points. Because it's really going to hurt our players a lot. With the likes of Thomas Partey already in the World Cup, he's already suffered an injury before the World Cup. The hectic period of time is yet to come after the World Cup. You don't need all this stress. But for me, guys, I'm so disappointed. I'm very, very disappointed. It's not that I don't want Arsenal to pay respects to the Queen, but this has gone too far. This is so selfish. This is absolutely selfish from the FA, from the Premier League, from UEFA, from Arsenal, from the Arsenal management. It is so selfish. They've not thought about the players here, and they've not thought about Mikel as a manager. How is he supposed to plan for these games? How is he supposed to, how is he supposed to? I mean, he's working with a very narrow squad. He's working with a very, very slim squad. How is he supposed to fit in all these fixtures? How is he supposed to? It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. Subscribe to the podcast. Hit that notification bell as well. I'm coming live. We need to talk about this because for me, it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. If the Brentford game is going to be postponed, right? If the Brentford game is going to be postponed this upcoming weekend, then the Everton game should have been played. You cannot push 3 fixtures and then you have a fucking international break. And I won't be very surprised to see England play football. So the English national team will play football, but Arsenal, Chelsea, Fulham cannot play football. Look, it's just a shambles, right? Subscribe to the channel. Hit that notification bell. We're gonna be coming live. We need to talk about these issues. We'll be live very, very soon, and make sure you're there.